Treefort Music Fest is back for 5 epic days, 400 artists, and one unforgettable adventure in downtown Boise. From March 26th through the 30th, catch Sophie Tucker, Remy Wolf, the Linda Lindas, plus experience Ailfort, Dragfort, Skatefort, and more. 5-day general admission passes start at $366. Prices are going up March 1st, so don't wait. You can also snag a zipline pass that gets you to the front of the line all weekend. Get your tickets now at treefortmusicfest.com/tickets. Today on CityCast Boise. Usually city social media pages aren't funny, but Boise's team has cracked the code, turning PSAs about scooters, composting, and sewer clogging fatbergs into viral gold. We talked to the masterminds behind the account about their strategy and how they're using humor to make local government fun and informative. It's Tuesday, March 4th. I'm Lindsay Van Allen, and this is what Boise's talking about. Joining me today is Elizabeth Kidd Chamberlain and Taylor Nash, the City of Boise social media team that you might have seen pop up on your feed now and again. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Your social media presence has been getting a lot of attention lately, and deservedly so, because your content is fantastic. So I'm really curious, was that deliberate strategizing, or did it just kind of evolve organically? You had one viral video and kind of ran with it. How did this happen?
I would say it's a little bit of both. We've been working together as a team for 2 years, and over that time, we've grown as content creators and also as a team, and that obviously makes the content better. And as we've seen what our strengths are individually and what our strengths are as a team, we've been able to make strategic decisions about going forward.
And what have been some of your goals with this pivot over the last couple years in the city's social media presence?
Our mission statement as a social media team for what we're doing on social media is we want what you're seeing online to make you feel the same as you feel out in the world in Boise. We want the social media to feel like being a Boisean. So we want it to be engaging, and we want it to be warm, and we want it to be fun. And we also want to reach as many Boiseans as we possibly can with messages that may not be sexy, like what you can and can't flush down your toilet.
And I definitely want to get into that one, because that was definitely a favorite video. Taylor, how do you decide what to post or what information to highlight? There's a lot going on in the city at any given moment. So how are you making choices about what to showcase?
Yeah, we have weekly meetings with our greater team at the city, and we build a lot of what we're sharing based off of the information we gain from these people in our meetings. But we're also a pretty social bunch, and we're often running around City Hall and hanging out with people and meeting people and learning about their jobs, and that informs us a lot. We kind of chase our own curiosity and find that a lot of people have the same interests as us about what's going on in the background of somebody who works at the airport or somebody who works in public works or works for the parks team.
Where have you found that you're getting fantastic inspiration? What does that creative process look like after you're talking to people in the city or going to different departments?
We really like a lot of the public library accounts. Milwaukee's doing a great job. Seattle has some really fun, informative stuff. And one of my favorites in the government world is Mayor Wu over in Boston, where she joins a different person from the city and takes their bus route with them in the morning or their train route. And so, yeah, we look at cities, we look at more niche things like libraries or transportation departments, but we gain a lot of inspiration just from what we're seeing on our own weird internets.
And can I ask, this might be a hard question, but what is each of your favorite videos that you've made?
Fatberg is my baby, my second baby, because I have a human baby. That one will always have a special place in my heart, just because it was kind of a nice new creative direction for us to go. Oh, we did Wish Cycling, which was 2 years ago. It was one of Taylor's first projects with me, and it was a lot of fun.
And I think more recently, we did a couple of videos about our flag redesign. And we had a lot of fun coming up with our own horrible fake flags to put in these videos. And it was a lot of fun working with all of the people to create these flags and figure out who was going to carry what flag and that kind of stuff, and just play to the strengths of the people that are on our larger team and their unique jobs and interests. And also everybody's just focused on what they love about Boise for that topic. And so that one very recently is like top of mind for me.
I think that one was so good. Okay, I have to, this might be very niche, but I loved the recent video that was the librarian ASMR. It was actually librarians getting books ready to like put on the shelf, but it was fantastic ASMR. I was having brain tingles all over the place. If you guys wanted to just run that at like 10 p.m. every night, I would subscribe.
What's crazy is we went and that wasn't the librarian that was supposed to be in the video. So the person who was supposed to be in the video wasn't there. And they're like, here is Abigail. She agreed to do it. She's like, I just need you to know I have a terrible speaking voice.
What? She was incredible.
And then that wasn't scripted. That was just like, just talk us through your job. And it was like one take, the most aesthetic video we've ever made. I loved it.
It's also specifically something that I have quite literally been waiting 2 years to make. Is like I want to be put in a room with the person who fixes the books and prepares the books. I think that's so interesting. Kind of back to what we were saying earlier about like, if we're curious about it, other people are probably curious about it too. And the library has a ton of really interesting things like that, prepping a book to go into circulation, that if we can tap into, and then we meet really cool people like Abigail, it's a home run and it's really fun.
Well, and it seemed, I was going through the comments of that video and people were really interested in this process and how it works and all the steps involved. So what kind of posts are you finding that most resonate with the Boise community?
We've had a lot of success with like the sketch content. So that's like Fatberg. It's like the flag video. If you go through, you can actually scroll back to last fall when kind of we did it for the first time and we saw that it would be successful, and it's grown from there. And I think that does well because it stands out on the internet as something that like this, somebody put a lot of work into, it's going to be good, but it also feels organic on the feed. So if you're someone who spends a lot of time on the internet like me, you'll be like, this fits in. This is internet content. This is not an interloper. But it's also a really easy format to get like a lot of information out while still being entertaining. Like we can be talking and getting you all of the information you're going to need, and you're going to be sucked in thinking you're watching an episode of Parks and Rec. So it's like putting spinach in a smoothie for children, but social media version.
I love that description. It really does feel that way. And I didn't want to put like the Parks and Rec label on it if you didn't want that, but like especially the Galentine's Day video where you went around giving Galentine's Day gifts to all these different women throughout the city. That's definitely the vibe and I love it. It's so refreshing.
This episode is brought to you by Peacock. The new Peacock original documentary, Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy, dives deep into the beloved actor's rise to fame and his tragic death. 5 people, including Perry's personal assistant, 2 medical doctors, and an alleged Hollywood drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, were charged with conspiracy to illegally provide Perry with the ketamine. Explore the details of the case in this heartbreaking special, streaming now only on Peacock.
Building a portfolio with Fidelity Basket Portfolios is kind of like making a sandwich. It's as simple as picking your stocks and ETFs, sort of like your meats and other toppings, and managing it as one big, juicy investment. Now that's pretty good. Learn more at fidelity.com/baskets. Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
So I'm really curious, in some of the videos, you feature the mayor, other city leaders and officials. How do they feel being part of these videos?
Some people are way more excited than others. It totally varies. And we've been really, really intentional and purposeful with building relationships and trust with all of these people. Like there's hundreds of people that we work with to make these things happen and even like learn the information. So maybe you're not always seeing people in the videos, but we're working with them to make sure that we're putting out their knowledgeable information. And if you are specifically asking about Mayor McLean, she does enjoy being in the videos.
It seems like she enjoys it, but I was like, I don't know. I don't want to assume.
Yeah, no, she has fun with us and she's very patient with us too, I'd say.
have either of you noticed that certain topics, I mean, we're talking about social media here, so it can be a hellscape sometimes. Have you noticed certain topics get people especially engaged or especially heated?
Yeah, people absolutely love Curb It, which is our trash and recycling compost kind of situation, like what you should recycle versus throw away. And compost is a big hit. And that makes sense because it just applies to everybody in our city in some capacity. On the other hand, people hate Lime scooters and they make sure to let us know about that, whether it's a video about Lime scooters or if there happens to be a Lime scooter in the background of a shot. Like, people don't like Lime. But those are both go-tos for us because they're really relevant. They affect a lot of the people who are in Boise. And if something affects our community, we're not going to ignore it or avoid it because there's information to share about both of those two things, despite them having different reactions commonly.
I'm also wondering, I exist on social media and sometimes that can be a lot. So how do you deal with backlash or criticism that comes from existing on social media?
First, we go to JD's Bodega a lot to decompress when people are being particularly mean to us. But in all seriousness, when we make something that we know is up to our standard and we know is accomplishing the goal that we set out to when we did it, it gets much easier to drown out the noise because there's going to be, by nature of what we're doing and where we're doing it, there is going to be nonsense in every single comment section. And it's going to be varying levels of cruel. And also like targeted at us, like people tell us we're ugly, which I think is mean and false. But also the commenters are not the one doing our performance reviews. So they can just say whatever they want. I don't care. We do see a lot of really hateful anti-LGBTQIA content, directed once again at us, at the people in the videos, or just like in general at the concept of gay people existing. And that does suck really bad. But we've never had a post that ultimately at the end of the day has more hate than love on it. When we look at it, when we do, I've gone through and crunched the numbers to say like, yeah, this was a lot of the most hateful people you've ever seen, but this many people hearted it. This many people left us a nice message. Like, we're still in the majority here. And also we know a lot of the worst of it isn't even coming from Boise.
Take me out to the ball game.
What are you doing?
Did you know DirecTV has the most MLB games?
So, you're singing.
Yeah, they put your favorite teams front and center right when you turn it on. Buy me some cold cuts and flapjacks.
Those aren't even the words.
I'm allergic to peanuts.
Stream DirecTV, home of the most MLB games. Visit directtv.com. Claim based on total games offered on national and regional sports networks. RSNs available with choice package or higher. Availability of RSNs varies by zip code and package.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
And how do you approach tone? Because a lot of your videos are fun, they're lighthearted, they're really engaging, but they are about serious topics a lot of times, or things that people really do need to know about within the city or to, make the most of resources within the city. So how do you decide what tone to take?
I mean, there's so much out there, and there are a lot of departments from the city with messaging coming from things you might just like physically read, or your emails, or the internet like us, or, if you're in City Hall. And it's ranging from the parks to the police to the airport. So we work with a unified style guide, and there's definitely like a city of Boise voice to match. But it's really important to us to look and feel like we belong online, because that's where we're sharing our corner of information. So it comes off less formal, but that isn't for any sort of lack of scripting or writing or gut checks from people in our office and editing galore. Like, if you see a particularly funny comment, like there were 3 people behind that keyboard.
And Elizabeth, I'm curious, have you seen an increase in participation in city programs or initiatives because of the social media content you've created?
So last summer, It was actually my first video back from maternity leave. So this is also one that has a special place in my heart. We got 1 million views on a video of me doing the hot to go dance, but it was about our compost program because our compost is hot and it's ready to go. And not an official study by any means, but on like my own personal feeds, what I was seeing, tons of people were all like, gonna go get compost this weekend. We're getting compost this weekend. And like, maybe it was a coincidence, but I also know that a lot of people learned about our compost program. So like, that was very fun to see. And I like to believe that we made a difference. We are working with people across a couple different departments to kind of see how we can quantify social media posts a little bit better. Like, we're hoping next year we'll be able to actually see that we had like X percentage of people didn't flush wipes this year that had the year before. So we're working kind of with a couple different data teams throughout the city to see if we can figure out how to quantify that stuff. Plus, like, we have link tracking on all of our posts. We have tons of analytics. So, for instance, we saw a huge bump in survey responses after we posted that first flag redesign video. So we can see in that way that people do pay attention. They go and do things after they see things. But like I said, it is hard because a lot of the stuff we're asking people to do is like, please recycle. And unless like I'm knocking on everybody's door and being like, did you recycle? Was it because of Instagram? Like, you'll never really, we just have to hope that people are seeing it enough times that they're like, I am not going to flush that flushable wipe.
That Fatberg was memorable. I think about it. We're not, rinsing fat down the sink. We're not flushing wipes.
Don't do it.
It was terrifying.
If you've learned anything this year.
So looking to the future, what kind of things are in the work for the City of Boise social media team in the coming months?
Yeah, like our favorite things about our jobs are the experts and the really, really knowledgeable people that we get to work with and learn from and befriend. And we're excited about the new ways that we get to get them on camera talking about just the very cool, very interesting, curious things like preparing a book for the library or working at the water renewal system. And I think we're kind of getting a little bit closer to kind of cracking that code at, okay, we've built this really cool relationship with these people and the information goes back and forth and we see their like strong traits and whatnot. And okay, so-and-so would be great for an interview type video. So-and-so would be great to work into a sketch. And we kind of just have like a running list as we meet everybody. And we learned this year specifically how to play to different people's strengths. And we're constantly making friends at the city. And I think we're really, really close to cracking the code on how to feature more of these really great people that work at the City of Boise.
Thank you both so much. I love your content. I'm a huge fan, and I really appreciate you taking the time to explain your process and what you've been doing and how you've been building the social media of the City of Boise.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It's been really fun to talk to you too.
That's all for today here on CityCast Boise. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend about us so they know what's up when you share the next City of Boise's viral video with them? We'll be back tomorrow morning with another great local story. See you then.